So I'm about to quit my job today. And I want to be one of the first to say, it ain't no better feeling than walking into a job that felt like you can find another job, that felt like you couldn't do better, that felt like they didn't have to pay you what you was worth. And being able to go in there and say, I quit. I quit. So yesterday, I was working and the supervisor walked up to me, right? And he was like, how's it going, Rico? You all right? And I looked at him and smiled and said, I'm doing marvelous. I'm doing great. You feel me? Then he said, good, because we appreciate all the hard work you do here. Do you? Because I don't feel like that. But anyway, just remember, sometimes them stones, they just meant for stepping. Straight like that. So I'm about to quit my job today.
This dude is living his entire existence in his head. And you can tell he's living in his head constantly. And he's also allowing other people to live rent free in his head as well. And I'm going to be honest, this type of individual is the type of individual that I don't want anywhere around me because it really sounds like his co-workers or his boss is being cool. And the whole time he's in his head formulating. And notice when he mentioned his reasons for leaving the job and why he can't wait to do it, it was based off everybody else's reaction. It wasn't based off his own happiness and him just making decisions as a man that's ultimately best for him and best for him to be able to flourish. It was, oh, they think this, they think that. They worried about this. They think I can't do this. They think I can't do that. And it's like, my guy, relax. Nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. But you nearly need to stop thinking so much because this dude is dangerous. And this is the type of dude where when he's finally ready to crash out, you're going to be surprised and you're going to be sitting there like, whoa, I thought everything was good. I thought we were cool. And the whole time, he done made you the villain in his story in his mind. Look at look at it again, how he was saying what the benefits are going to be when he leaves the job. It didn't have nothing to do with his own happiness, with his own fulfillment. Look,
And I want to be one of the first to say, it ain't no better feeling than walking into a job that felt like you can find another job, that felt
it ain't no better feeling. See, I was going to be cool there, but then he said it ain't no better feeling than walking to a job that felt like your feelings is based off what other people felt like or feel like about your feelings.
like you couldn't do better, that felt like they didn't have to pay you what you was worth. And being able to go in there and say, I quit.
Here's the thing. Everything is based he can't wait to do it just to see how they going to react. Listen, if you feel like you're worth more, then go out there and prove it. But don't let it be based off of what someone else is going to think. I mean, you got a fully grown beard. So I expect you to be a little wiser than that. Be a little bit more poised than that. Do it for you. Do it because you know that you're capable and still leave on good terms, in good graces, in good faith with some people that could still be connections moving forward. But he's got something he's got something on his back, something that he's carrying with him. And it's one thing if somebody expressly told you you ain't gonna be ish or nothing, and then you internalize it and you ultimately energize yourself and use it. But I think most of the issues that he's referring to are completely made up in his own mind. Y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype. The caption for this says, God told me to quit my job again.
God just told me to quit my job again. The first time around, I didn't want to quit and I ended up getting fired. The second go around, I recognized that I was having those same emotions from the first time, and I'm recognizing that God is sending that same test. Son, do you trust me enough to do it the first time before I have to do it for you? Before you put yourself in a worse position, I need you to trust that I am going to provide better for you than what you had before. Provide more without you having the security that you once felt within certain things. I have showed you all around you that things are working out for your good. Things are working out for your better. But you have to release the security that you have provided by your own will and allow me to do what I can do with my will. Commit your actions to the Lord and then your plans will succeed. So if God tells me to do something, I'm going to do it because he knows the plans that I have in my mind. He knows that I know the plans that he has for him, and I want those plans to succeed over my own plans because I know that he has something greater than anything that I could ever imagine. So if he told me to quit my job, I'm going to do it. And we're going to see what happens from this. And I pray that it be a testament to how good God is. But I must make a video to show that this I don't know what's going to happen. I can't be scared though. I ain't scared. I mean, I might be a little bit, but I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. No, I'm not scared. I ain't tripping. God just told me.
So the Most High told you to quit your job and do what instead? What are you going to do instead? I'm going to be real. This video that he created got a lot of engagement. It got almost 30K likes. It got almost 3,000 shares, almost 1,000 comments. So that leads me to wonder, is he going to be a content creator on TikTok? But when I further examine his videos, he doesn't get that many views. These type of videos do very well. That I'm going to quit my job, or I just lost my job, or AI just took my job. Those type of videos, they typically perform very well. So he might have just had something pop for him, and he might have had a few other things in the past pop, because really it's just at the top where he has his pin stuff, where he had one video do 4.3, another do 2.6. This ain't it, my guy. This isn't it. 40, TikTok ain't it, is ultimately what I'm saying. And listen, I'm not going to tell you what you're hearing, but I would just like to know, what are you going to do with your time? Because the Most High likes it when you work hard and when you fulfill your duties, and ultimately when you stretch yourself and when you serve others. So what do you plan on doing? Everybody wants to do what they want to do, but nobody wants to do what they want to do and what they have to do. And I would argue that as a man, you don't have the luxury to sit here and just continue making things up that align with your natural inclinations to just be comfortable, because that's all this is. He wants to be comfortable, because you can do both. You can work a job and you can also use your off hours. I would love to examine his schedule and ultimately examine his life and see if we can't find some leaks where he could be capitalizing a lot more. And I think it's definitely going to be in the form of his time. I don't think he's waking up at 5 a.m. every day. I don't. I don't think he's waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think we will find something. And so that's still something that you have that you're not being resourceful with. And the Most High likes when you're resourceful. And then you can be given more because you're stewarding what you have. A lot of people just look at that as finances, but that's also your time as well as other things, other gifts that you've been given. His caption says, I quit my job again.
Okay, so I haven't had a job in like almost a year. It's actually been like 6 months, 7 months. I have not had a job. I recently just got a job, but I had to quit because like I had vacations plans and these bitches was not trying to
What?
accommodate my fucking vacation.
He talking about, I just got a job, but I had to quit. So I'm listening extra hard for why you had to quit. He's talking about some because I had some vacations planned.
plans, and these bitches was not trying to accommodate my fucking vacation. We was in orientation. She asked us, she said, look, if you need time off, let me know now. So I said, yes, I need some time off. I have some vacations planned. So she put me to her office, and I'm like, yeah, like, when can I put in like my time off? I told her, I said, I need a week off in August. I need a week off September. I also need 4th of July and the day after 4th of July. Actually, that whole week of 4th of July, I need that off. Then I'm gonna go to Miami in June. So
I know he didn't double back. He talking about I need August and September. And then she was like, And then he said, oh, shoot. Oh, it's working. Let me go back then. Matter of fact, I need July too. You were going forward and then you went backwards. This dude is out his mind. And then both times he said he need a week off. In just the next 3 months, the time off that he's taking is almost another month in itself. Just in those next 3 months, that's already 3 weeks off.
that whole week of 4th of July, I need that off. Then I'm gonna go to Miami in June. So it's like, bitch, I need all these days off. So she said, okay, like just write on the sheet. I wrote all these days off on my sheet. She looked at that shit and laughed. I asked her, I said, so like what month is funny? Like, do you think October is like a funny type of month or something? Because what the fuck is so fucking funny? So she said, oh yeah, like, we can't give you all these days off. So why the fuck did you ask me if I needed the time off, bitch? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? So I asked her, I said, yeah, like, unfortunately, I got all this stuff booked. So, like, I'm going. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like
You got it
PTO means prepare to others, bitch, because I promise you, I'm going, bitch. The shit already booked. What the fuck? You want me to refund it? She was like, okay, like, I have to get with the manager or whatever. I said, okay, so where's the manager? Oh, she's across the hall, but that's all I need to know, bitch. I don't give a fuck. So what did I do? I went into the manager and I told her the same shit. She laughed again. I said, okay, so what month is funny? Because she thought October was funny, and you must think August is fucking funny, bitch. Because why the fuck you hoes keep laughing? She said, unfortunately, we can't give you all these days off. She said, you might just have to pick one. I said, well, I pick all of them, so I'm gonna have to go. So I quit. You bitches got me fucked up. Like, this is my fucking life. What the fuck would I sit there not go on my motherfucking vacation for you? Okay, so I haven't had a job in like almost a year.
Oh, this dude really got the game messed up. He's really got it messed up. He's really got it messed up. Because keep in mind, it sounds like this is a newer job. And so he said he needed a week in June, a week in July, a week in August, and a week in September off. Tally the next 4 months up, and that equals up a whole nother month in itself off. So within 4 months alone, and I doubt it was going to stop there. I think he needs a week every month off. So by the time this year is all said and done, the next 6 or 7 months that we have left, he's going to take 2 of those months off and get paid completely and not even be working. Where does he think they do that at? They hired you because they actually need you to do a job. They need you to be present. You're just taking entire weeks off. What type of life are you living? You're young. See, this doesn't make any sense. And my guy, you are not serving as a good representation when people say that your generation is lazy and that y'all are really bat-ish crazy. You are the poster child of that for so many reasons. But it's really about the mindset that you carry with you and the things that are coming out of your mouth that you think make sense. It really seems crazy, and it seems like you don't want to pay your dues and be dependable. That's one of the most lacking traits I found in the younger generation that I hear. Their level of being dependable. They don't even want to work 40 hours anymore. There was a time, and I think they're still pushing for it, when they were ultimately pushing for 20-hour work weeks. 20-hour work weeks to be the normal. But keep in mind, that doesn't mean half the salary. They're saying they still want to get paid for 20-hour work weeks. I think that's a little extreme. Now, I wouldn't be mad at it. It's not like I own a major corporation, but I'm just saying that's a little extreme because I don't really look at 40 hours like it's that much. You will look at it as if it's a lot if you've never done more. But if you have built up your tolerance to work at a very high level as far as the amount of hours that you worked at one period of time for a sustained period of time, I worked for over 120 hours a week. And I did this every day pretty much for a 3-year period. And so if I were to work 40 hours, that would feel like a vacation. That wouldn't feel like nothing. Especially if that's just all I'm doing, that would be too easy. And so that's not even taking into account any type of PTO or anything I get off. But I think you have to condition yourself for that. And then it will completely change your paradigm of what hard work is. And I think more people need to adopt that strategy because it's ultimately just about building yourself. Build yourself, and then life itself can actually be very easy, in my opinion. His caption says, I quit my job again. Same thing. Let's see what his perspective is on it, though.
So yeah, I quit my job at Pepsi. I know I just got the. So yeah, I quit my job at Pepsi. I know I just got the damn job, but I just do not give a fuck. To be honest with you, I will
Oh,
still
really?
leave a job today. I know people be like, "Oh, you can't, you can't leave no job these days because this, that, and the third." No, bitch, I'm still leaving. I'm still leaving. I gotta protect my peace. It's other ways to make money than these jobs. It really is other ways to make money. I do not care. These folks that at Pepsi, you got to realize when these jobs care more about their money than you as a person. They always hiring new
That's
people.
true.
If you die today, they gonna hire somebody else.
That's true. I agree.
These folks have me working 12-hour shifts every day. Then Thursday came in at 12 p.m. Then leaves to 3 a.m. What? Not even 3 a.m. Like 3:40 Friday morning. And they thought I was gonna come in at 12 p.m. Friday morning. No. Got there. I'm out.
Here's the thing. He said that these companies, they don't care about you. And that could be true. They're going to hire somebody. And same thing. You think you're quitting. You think you're hurting them. They're not even going to notice that you left. Trust me, there will be another person. They will be just fine. Trust me. Some people quit their job and they think that everything begins and ends with their existence at the company. No, you're on a low level field. You're not that important. But what it comes down to is yes, they don't care about you, but do you care about you? And here's what I mean. I understand that they don't care what happens. They don't care whether or not you can take care of yourself, whether or not you're there or not, especially if a life event happens that's out of your control, it will still be cutthroat. But you have to care about yourself because you have responsibilities. And if you are somewhere and it's comfortable and it's stable, especially in this environment right now, where there are people who would give anything to be in your position, literally, because there's a lot of people getting laid off, whether that's in the public sector, as far as federal jobs, government jobs, whether that's in the private sector, as far as pretty much everything else that's being displaced through automation and AI, artificial intelligence. So to have a job, and it sounds like they're pretty much allowing you to work as much as you want, and you're a young man who I would probably guess probably still stays at home with his parents, which is why you feel so comfortable and so ready to just up and leave everything because you have that safety blanket. And I feel like they're ultimately holding you back by allowing you to operate like that. But see, you might They might treat you a little different because you're in your princess energy. So you might be treated like the princess, which ultimately that ain't going to help you. And you might just need to get put out there so you can fend for yourself and so it can strengthen you, because no matter how you try to operate in this world and what your personality is, you still are built to get it out the mud and to work hard and to work for everything that you hunt, everything that you eat. You are designed to hunt for it. And so I think you need to get pushed out there and thrusted into the wilderness so that you can ultimately learn how to survive.
What? Not even 3 a.m. Like 3:40 Friday morning. They thought I was gonna come in at 12 p.m. Friday morning. No. Got there. I'm outside waiting like 30, 40 minutes for them to even let me in because they didn't give us no badge. So I said fuck it and I left. Then when I get home, then y'all wanna text me, tell me I need to come back to work. Nope, I'm good, thank you.
So it was ego.
I'm fucking good.
It was
Fuck
ego.
these jobs, like I said, been saying. I keep saying fuck these jobs, but I keep going back, and it's like, for what? I keep going back because other people tell me to, not because I want to. And I don't have to. I could do what the fuck I want to do. There's other ways out here to make money. But fuck Pepsi. Fuck these jobs. And protect your people.
And then he gonna ruin any potential to possibly work for them or probably anyone else by saying F them publicly on a public platform. Who is guiding these young dudes? Really the entire young generation. Who is guiding them? Because they are very lost out here and they're going down a very dark path. And it's gonna lead to nowhere.
I just had to quit my job.
His caption says, "Story time when I quit my Target job yesterday." And then his description says, "It's more to life than that lame ad job."
Yesterday, I ain't even gonna lie. And why, you may ask? Because they had me fucked up in that bitch, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. And yesterday was just my final straw. I just couldn't do that shit no more, bro. They've been playing in my face for a full year straight, treating me like a goofy, barely give me any hours. I would have to pick up shifts to, get a decent amount of hours. And when I couldn't pick up any shifts, they would call me to come in, but I'll be already out doing something, or I'll just be living my day like how I normally do. But because they call me and I'm trying to make some extra money, I go. But it's like, y'all just think I'm just sitting there waiting around for y'all to call me to get some hours instead of just scheduling me so I can know I got work at this time today. Let me do this and this beforehand. And there was just no type of consideration for my time at all. That's not even the only thing. So when I first started working there, my position at Target was a closing expert. And for the individuals who have worked at Target, you would know what that is. Basically, I'm just responsible for closing my area. And the area that I was working at was general merchandise, stocking the floor, picking the stuff from certain areas and putting it on the floor. And then if I had any extra time, I go and do reshop, which is the carts from people's returns and putting it back on the floor. So that was my initial position, but they started slowly transitioning me over to market because I had like 1 or 2 days maybe on the market, but then they started making my whole schedule market. And I told them that I didn't want to work that position, not only because the workload is significantly worse and you have so much higher of an expectation because it's 1/3 of the store's priority, but you also get paid the same amount as everybody else. So why would I want to put in extra amounts of work, going in the freezers, going in the coolers, doing the most to get paid the same as everybody else? So mind you, I'm already on my like 5th time telling them like, bro, I do not want to work this.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit. That is the worst when you know that you're doing more and you have experienced the easier position that you are happy to stay at, but then you get moved somewhere else and it's clearly harder, but you're getting paid the same. but it's just a necessity and nobody wants to work it. So sometimes, because he might be a good worker, but sometimes they'll select you because they'll know that it's the most, or excuse me, the least amount of friction of telling you to go. And some people will outwardly complain more. So they'll just pick you, the good worker. And so that's your reward for being a good worker, going and doing the, for lack of better words, shitty position. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from. But I have more to say on it, but I want to get the full context before I do, because that doesn't mean I completely agree.
Position. You stop scheduling me in this position, whatever. And every time I talk to them, no matter who I talk to, there was nothing being changed. And on top of that, they switched my position over without my consent or giving me a heads up that, oh, you're gonna have to move in this position. They just switched me over. So yesterday, I just finally had enough. I couldn't deal with it no more. You feel me? I was scheduled at 9 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m., but I ended up leaving around like 12 or 1 because I went up to the manager and I asked her, hey, is it cool if I learn another position because I'm getting tired of this position? I do not like it, and I already told them that I didn't like it. And then she was like trying to be funny because they constantly be trying to joke in my face like I'm just some type of goofy. And she was like, oh, you need to master your position first. Like, what? I can still work another position.
Okay,
I
I see
clearly
what
know
he's
how to do
saying.
this position. I just don't like it. That's what I told her. And then she goes on and says, oh, well, I still can't get over that zone that you did that last 2 months ago. I'm telling you, zoning is basically where you're aligning the things on the shelf so they look neat for the customers to buy. And I did that even though on that same day, a whole bunch of people called off and there was a whole bunch of work that I was required to do in such a short amount of time, and they got mad because I couldn't zone properly, even though I was scrambling around doing all that, whatever. So I went back and I let it slide, whatever. But then, as I'm doing my work and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, nah, bro, because it's like they just keep playing in my face, like they really think I'm just some sort of goofy that's just gonna take whatever they give to me because.
So basically, his previous position was a little bit more of a skilled position, I guess you could say, for Target, right? Where I guess he sets up some of the displays or whatever the case. And there was one day that maybe he was rushing because other people called out and it didn't look up to par for the store standard. So basically, what they ultimately ended up doing was putting him on the grunt work because they just felt like he couldn't handle it. But it sounds like he has a valid excuse for it, but it also sounds like they're holding that over him. And they may be playing in his face as far as they got that frame of reference and that particular circumstance to continue to go off of to basically leverage over him to keep him in the position that they probably have a hard time filling or keeping people from turning over in. There's probably a lot of turnover in the new position. And so they would rather just keep him because they feel like he's not going to go anywhere either. It could be a lot of things going on. Listen, I'm never going to discount the fact that business is cutthroat and it is very savage. And so there's definitely things that when it comes from up top, you may have to question why it's being done or whether or not you're being targeted for whatever reason or whatever. I'm never going to discount that because they're ultimately always going to focus on the bottom line. And also out of getting the most out of you, out of your energy, out of your life force. So I understand it a little bit. But here's the thing. I've never, or excuse me, I don't want to make it seem like I've never left a job emotionally. Oh, I've done it many times. I wouldn't say I got super emotional to where I ruined the relationship, but I've said I'm done before. But the thing about it was I always felt empowered to do it because I if I left that job, I still had two other jobs. So I had other jobs already. I don't think I've left a job and not had another job. They say you're supposed to have a job lined up before you leave a job. No, I already just had jobs. So I think that's the difference. I don't know if he's going to disclose that. I'm probably going to, well, I won't speed it up, but I think you should have other jobs or at least something lined up in the pipeline before you just leave a job. I don't ever think you should get that emotional to where now there's going to be a period of time where you don't have any income coming in my opinion.
I really need this job so bad. So I got on the walkie and I talked to her. I was like, "Can you switch to channel 4?" And I was like, "I don't know what you think. I don't know if y'all think it's funny to play jokes in my face like I'm just some sort of goofy. Like, I'm not playing that. Like, it's not a joke. I'm not laughing. I asked you a question and I'm being dead serious or whatever." She got mad. She called me to her office. She started yelling, talking about, "Oh, whatever is required for us to do, you have to do the position. It doesn't matter. That's your position, whatever." And I'm like, "So other people get a say so on their position and
Mm.
I don't? Okay." And then she goes on to talk about how her kids wouldn't dare ever say that to her, so why would she take it from me? And I'm just like, I'm not your kid. Like, I'm a grown man. You feel me? Like, these managers be having a
Oh
superiority
wow.
complex, and they think
That's
that
crazy.
because they got a position higher than you in the job, that they're just better than you. Like, we both human at the end of the day. We both got our own lives, and I don't know if y'all think y'all could just treat me like I'm just some sort of dummy. Like, no. And
Well, I'm gonna be honest though, sir. You opened up the door for unprofessionalism. See, if you carry yourself in a certain way, you'll never have to deal with these type of things. But you reacted childish by going over the radio and saying what you said. And so now she also got a little unprofessional with you, but you opened the door for it. I really don't think I've really been tried like that. But I carry myself in a certain way to where it would be pretty hard. And you'd probably feel silly after the fact because I'm not going to crack. I'm going to keep it professional. But what it ultimately comes down to, since he's a young man, is you have to be a man. And by be a man, I say make a decision. There is a professional way to make a decision in your mind. And by make a decision, I mean you preemptively think out what is the worst case scenario. Am I willing to accept that? And then that's when you make a move. You don't make a move emotionally after you've had an internal buildup that now is getting you to resort to impulsive actions. What you do is you weigh it out, you think it through, maybe even you start making preemptive steps to make sure you have a little bit of leverage. So maybe you get some interviews lined up before you make your move as far as having the discussion with your manager. And now that you have those lined up and you know that you potentially have something that's about to come through anyway that could replace this, then you can have that conversation of listen, and you do it professionally, and you just really do it maturely. And you say, I don't appreciate this. Here's what I've noticed. Other people get to pick their position. I've been put here and I've made it clear that I don't want to be here. So now I'm at a crossroads to where I'm not willing to do this anymore. So either can I go to this other position again where I'll be happy and I'll do it happily. Maybe there's a happy medium where I can alternate and then we can meet in the middle. But if not, then I'm going to put my 2 weeks in. And that's how you just go ahead and have the conversation. But you already know what you're willing to do. And you have to be willing to actually deal with those circumstances. But here you're having this back and forth that's ultimately just going to lead you to looking crazy. And really, for me, I would have already just said it, brought it up, and asked again. And I wouldn't have even showed my cards probably. I'd have just probably asked. And then if you don't give me what I want, then I'm just putting the 2 weeks notice in. I might even give myself a little bit more time to more aggressively go after other jobs. And then I'm going to do it. And while I'm there now, I'm very detached because I already know that I'm about to make my exit. So now I'm feeling really good because it really doesn't matter to me either way. Personally, my personal opinion.
I just wasn't taking that shit no more. So she was just like, "Oh, if you don't like it, you can either call off or leave." And I'm like, "All right, fuck this shit then. I'm gone, bro. Cause
You
like, who
just
the
did. You
fuck do
just
they
left.
think I am? Like, you think I'm just gonna sit here and take disrespect and also get minimal hours because and take all this shit that I've been taking for a whole year
It's about minimal
after she
hours now.
just disrespected me already?" Like, nah, I'm not doing that shit, bro. And I was finna buy some shit real quick before I left, but I'm like, fuck that. I'm not buying shit from this
Oh
place, bro. And
wow.
I just left, bro. And that's just what happened, man, because they had me fucked up in that job. And I had to get out. Like, I had to. I was miserable every second in that job. I was just like, I really wanted to crash out, bro. If I would have been there any longer, I probably would have crashed out even worse than that. Shit, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a lot of people have to master themselves and master how to react and not just react so emotionally, especially being a male. But he really only ended up hurting himself at the end of the day because now he brought up the fact that he was getting minimal hours. Well, now you went from minimal hours to 0 hours. And then you actually needed something and it was convenient for you to just go ahead and grab it at the store. And now you're going to have to go to another store. You're just hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. You need to think logically, you need to think accurately. And you don't have the luxury of just being emotional like this. Do the right strategic thing, think strategically, and then you can still act with boldness and with decisiveness. But just weigh and evaluate why you're doing things. Be able to analyze yourself and understand I would just be doing this out of ego right now. It would probably be smarter for me to continue to get some checks coming in, but for me to go ahead and start planning my exit. So, listen, he's young. There's going to be lessons. Going to have to hit his head a few times, but that's what I would tell him if I was advising him. And I've been advised well. And that's why I've already always known never to leave your job unless you have another job lined up. And that is the bare minimum in my mind, as well as principles like if you lose your job, finding a job should be your full time job. So you need to work that like a job. And I feel like more times than not, you'll get another job. But we see some people out here who make it seem like getting a job is just impossible. And maybe in some industries and some verticals, it is harder than others. But at the same time, I will do something outside of what I want to do in order to just make sure I have some revenue coming in as well. So some people just aren't willing as well. But we'll leave it there for today, y'all. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels. So that's why we get more points. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then check. It's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. And then also, if you want to become a member, then you can see the join button on this video. You can just press that join button. And then you'll have the option to join the DXU family. And what becoming a member will come with is you would get membership badges next to your comments where people can see that you're a member, as well as you will get early access to content, as well as exclusive content. So again, if you want to join the membership, then you can hit that join button. But until then, I'll catch you on the next video.